Hey guys, today we're going to talk about what most lead vendors do in the MCA industry and why it's wrong, and what to do instead. So, do you mind if I share a secret with you? Well, okay, it's not really a secret, but here it is. Most merchant cash advance lead vendors are usually selling beat up lists of merchants who got contacted by dozens of lenders already. And have you ever wondered why this is so common in the industry? Well, today I'm going to reveal the reason why MCA lead vendors sell the same lists to dozens of different brokers without a second thought, and why purchasing these shopped out lists is keeping you and your financial firm at the bottom of the industry, fighting over scraps with other similar brokers buying the same lists. And I'm also going to discuss how to evolve and become like the tech giants who hold a tight grip on the alternative lending industry. And so part one, why do MCA lead vendors sell the same lists to dozens of different brokers without a second thought? Okay, so well, to be a little bit blunt, here's the reason why they do what they do. The core reason is that the cost of new acquisitions is much higher, um, at sometimes more than $50 a lead, if you plan on going for bigger deal sizes like merchants with revenue above $20,000 a month. And time in business more than 6 months. When you start filtering out people and, you want more qualified leads, this is, usually what the cost that, you will pay. In some channels, it's even higher. It's even like $100 per qualified lead. So, most lead vendors would have, slim margins if they only spent their $50 on one lead and then sold it to one exclusive client for $80 or something like that. Most of the time, you'll see them selling leads at $50 a lead, which means that they're breaking even on their lead costs by selling to one client. They're not even making a profit here by selling to just one client. The profit doesn't start rolling in until they've sold to two plus clients here. As you can see, if they sell to 15 clients here, they've sold for $750. That same lead, they've sold it to them for $750, and they've made a 1,500% profit on this. So basically, this is the reason why they shop it out to many different brokers, and they don't keep exclusive agreements with the brokers or the funders. So this leads us into asking, why don't they sell you the leads at a higher price so they can break a profit? Well, they don't do it because that kind of business surely won't make them as much money as if they sell it to 12 different brokers or 15 different brokers. In other words, they're more concerned about making money than about scratching your back. Short-term investment, short-term instant gratification over long-term strategic thinking. And most lead vendors are usually guys who dropped out of the MCA game because they couldn't meet sales quotas, and they saw that everyone in the industry is hungry for leads, and so they got greedy and decided to start selling leads with the wrong frame of mind. And greed blinds people from solving problems in a customer-centric way. Now, think about Amazon. Why Amazon is one of the richest companies in the world. It's because they have an intrinsic focus on customer desires and wants. Hell, Amazon wasn't even profitable for so long, but now it's dominating all types of industries because of its long-term vision and because it focused intensely on what was the right thing to do for the customer. And so, as I was saying, lead vendors are basically focused on short-term instant gratification and selling you scraps. Their train of thought is like this. So here's a misguided lead vendor, he's like, I'll buy these leads with my money by investing into some ads, and then I'll make a profit by selling to multiple vendors instead of only one guy, you know. No exclusivity there. Let the schmuck brokers fight over them, let them fight over who gets the deal funded. No skin off my back, you know. And so, this works for them. Why does it work? You gotta ask. Because this industry is full of salesmen, who love to be competitive and they see a hard sell as a challenge without fully being aware of why it's hard to sell that loan to that lead that they got from that lead vendor. Newsflash, it's hard to sell. It's a hard sell because the merchant's attention is split across 15 different brokers calling him dozens of times a day. This is a merchant's wet dream. So many people fighting over his business. He'll just buy from the guy with the lowest factor rate because money is a commodity for him. So everyone loses when this happens. Brokers lose when they experience poor close rates, either due to heavy competition or due to the merchant having poor qualifications because he's been stacked with debt. And merchants lose trust in the alternative lending industry and their guard goes up ever increasingly. And then lead vendors lose when they, experience distrust from ISOs and brokers because their leads aren't converting. So everyone loses in this situation. And so basically, indeed, if most people in this industry weren't so greedy and were focused on actually helping their clients solve problems, we wouldn't see such a trend where seemingly like 90% of the brokers are fighting over the 10% of poorly qualified merchants, while the 10% of the tech giants like OnDeck and Fundera and Lendio and all these big tech companies acquire new, fresh deals that no one has ever touched before. And so let's move on to part two here. Why is purchasing these shopped out lists keeping you and your financial firm at the bottom of the industry, fighting over scraps? Well, here's why. Marketing in the financial industry is highly competitive, with the majority of market share in the hands of people like OnDeck, who are actively seeking new acquisitions instead of trying to stack business owners with debt. So here's the shocker. Like the majority of people in the alternative lending industry are not pursuing new business. They're fishing for merchants who are already funded and are familiar with the merchant cash advance product. You can see this with people who are always like shopping for UCCs. They're looking for UCCs and people, they're trying to like get a guy a second position or third position or fourth position, whatever, like stack the guy with debt. And then it's crazy, the guy can't even qualify for anything at that point. And so this is the way that, they're trying to find people who are already familiar with the product. So the problem with this strategy is that everyone else is doing the same thing. UCCs previously funded. Maybe they want more money. Everyone's shopping around for UCCs. Everyone's trying to look at state filings. Everyone's trying to find UCCs. Every broker is trying to do that. So you're competing against like hundreds, maybe thousands of brokers. And so, aged leads, already cold called by hundreds of brokers already, you know? And so the same thing here, everyone's doing the same thing here also. And then web opt-in leads. This is, in other words, like digital marketing leads that have been, sold by these lead vendors and shopped out to as many brokers as possible. And so same thing here. They sold it to like 15 different clients and now let them fight over it. And then live transfers. Everyone in this industry is cold calling and annoying merchants. So this method of acquisition is way played out. This may have been good like in the beginning, like 2007 when OnDeck came out with the funding model, but this is completely played out now. No one wants to hear cold calls coming from anyone about this stuff. Now it's all about like digital acquisitions. So now, and then we also have real-time leads. Again, these are shopped out to dozens of brokers as soon as they come in. So the merchant will be sent to like 15 different brokers and they have to like fight it out over that. So, it's pretty screwed up here. And so the sad reality of the merchant cash advance industry here is that, these are the small funders, the ISOs, the syndicators, all these guys probably constitute a large part of this industry. And these guys I've noticed are tech and marketing challenged. They're not very savvy with that stuff. And I've noticed that they're also doing a lot of cold calling and they're chasing stacked merchants and they're chasing UCCs and they're chasing merchants from, beat up lists basically. And they also they participate in like predatory lending. Like they're trying to stack merchants with like four positions, and then after that they're trying to consolidate them into one position. So it's mostly like they're not really trying to help the guy. They're trying to basically stack the guy with as much debt so they can make a commission, then move on from the guy. And so that's predatory lending, and this is what constitutes a large, big part of the industry. And then we have the small part of the industry, which makes the majority of the money, essentially. These are the industry leaders. These are like, On Deck and all the big tech companies in this industry, like Fora Financial, Credibly, all these big giants. And these guys, I've noticed, they're like tech and marketing enabled, and they have like the best um, inbound system for bringing like leads and deals. They have automatic systems and everything, and they have automation set up on the back end. They have everything. And they're focused on systems that bring in new deals, fresh acquisitions, merchants that aren't stacked. In other words, they're not trying to stack a guy with like four positions. They're trying to find guys who, although they're interested in alternative financing or ways to get financing, they're new. They haven't been stacked already. And so this is non-predatory lending. They're trying to actually help the guy, and they're not trying to stack him with four positions. And so, what happens over time with this industry? And this is pretty obvious because since 2007 until now, and it's like 2019 now, you can see what happened with the majority of the people who were just, trying to get one-off sales. They're just trying to like screw people over. Most of them, they saw some initial money and then they just fluked out, and now they're like, they're struggling. They're basically like, what the hell? Like no one, like where do we get qualified leads? It's hard to find qualified leads. Everyone's stacked with debt. They're all complaining about that stuff now. And when you look at the ones that are the industry giants, they're completely like they've skyrocketed. They're making 25 million. They're funding $25 million a month. I've talked to one company recently, and it was a tech giant, and they were asking how I could help them bring leads, and so these guys are already doing 25 million per month in funding, and I don't think they needed my help. You know, I helped these guys to get to their level. I don't think they needed my help at that point. So you can see like exactly like what's going on here. These guys, it's the same similar thing to like how the rich get richer over time, and the poor get poorer because they're doing the success mechanisms there, and then these guys are, they're trying to just make a living and get by, basically. And so that's what's going on here. And as you can see, it doesn't pay to jump on a bandwagon and do the same thing that everyone else in this industry is doing, because then you end up like this, and you want to be over here. And so part three, how to evolve and become like the tech giants who hold a tight grip on the alternative lending industry. So you're probably kind of pissed off right now, you know. Well, good, because that's a starting point to fixing things inside your cash advance business. And most people don't even know they have a problem and blindly keep making cold calls, thinking they're winning. Now, let me tell you the real key to success in this industry, and I haven't seen even one of the big leaders in this industry without one. That key is to have your own automated inbound lead gen system. And no, I'm not talking about digital marketing. And so this is what an automated inbound lead gen system looks like. This is an actual blueprint. And I'm talking about the combination of financial technology with a field-tested marketing and qualification system that predictably brings fresh new prospects into your email inbox. And here's the diagram of what one looks like. You see the problem with most vendors is that they set up a generic marketing funnel with a generic opt-in box, and then they put generic ads in front of a poorly targeted audience, and then they call that a lead. That is not what a lead is. A real lead is a guy who's gone through this sequence here. And then, so like he's gone through the entire sequence here. And he's popped out over here as a lead. And so like, he came to your landing page, which was over here. And then he opted in to receive more information, over here. This is a lead opt-in. But it doesn't end there. This is where most people end it, and they don't go any further than this. We further pre-qualify the guy in order to make sure, this is the pre-qualification filter, and we further pre-qualify the guy in order to make sure his monthly deposits meet our criteria, to make sure his bank statements don't have a bazillion NSFs, and to make sure that the guy actually qualifies for more than just a slice of pizza. This is all done in the pre-qualification filter. And then once we know for sure that he's pre-qualified, we're going to take him to our back-end technology over here that is streamlined, that is designed to streamline the document retrieval process. So here he's going to submit his loan app, he's going to submit his bank statements, and he's going to submit his STIPs all together from the back-end tech that we have. And so then once we've got his signed app and docs, we send it out to the appropriate lender for underwriting here, or send it to the underwriting in-house if you're a direct funder. And then you get the offer and the contracts out to the guy within literally hours of him applying. So this entire stage can happen literally hours after he's applied, And so then, finally, we are able to focus most of our energy where it counts, selling the deal. When all of this stuff has been automated, as you can see here, when we've automated most of the things, most of the crap that takes up so much time in the business, like getting the docs and getting all this other stuff, then we can focus finally most of our energy and time where it counts in selling the actual deal and getting more deals in. And so with an inbound system like this, you'll get merchants whom you know are qualified for funding because you've qualified them thoroughly with your inbound system. And you'll get merchants who are serious about funding and didn't just click on some random ad and kind of maybe sometime in the future want funding. In other words, digital marketing. That's what people who do digital marketing, they produce that kind of lead. That's not what you want. And so merchants who've gone through a streamlined process and are committed to getting funding from you before you even get on the phone with them. And you will get merchants who uploaded their docs, loan app, bank statements, STIPs on their own without you ever having needed to chase them. And so now I want to ask you something. What would an inbound lead gen system allow you to do? What would an inbound system that automatically and predictably brings fresh, qualified deals into your pocket allow you to do? Would it allow you to scale? And how would your life change as a result of being able to scale your cash advance business? And would it allow you to spend more time on revenue generating activities like sales and closing more deals? And if so, how many more deals do you think you could close with an efficient system like this? Now check this out. I've created a 30-minute video case study that reveals the exact step-by-step system to target merchants who are shopping right now and need funding right now, and get the merchants' bank statements before you ever even get on the phone with them, and create a magnetic effect where merchants come to you instead of you going to them, getting hung up on or cursed at over the phone. And the free case study is at this link. So just put this link into your browser in the URL bar, and it's just bit.ly at bit.ly/inbound lead gen, inbound lead gen. So this is the link for the free case study, And so that's pretty much it. And I hope to see you guys on the other side. Thank you.